Seek out those who can wield its light. The darkness is coming back. You must push back the darkness. Join me.
So, hello everybody out there in podcast land. Welcome to the first ever inaugural kickoff of the Destiny Speakercast is what we're calling the show. My name is Nick Delicave. I also do some great podcasting with our parent station, Gamerfeed Radio. So if you're listening, you're probably familiar with all the great stuff there. I have brought with me today a bunch of background noise, thanks Dan, a bunch of Destiny geniuses who are going to be joining for a series of several podcast episodes to talk to us all about the fun things of Destiny. So, with that, we'll do some introductions. I'll save myself for last. Alex, say hi and tell us all about your character and stuff.
Hey, everybody. I'm Alex Tomlinson. I have a level 33 female human hunter who's pretty darn sexy. I'm not to the level 34 yet. I don't probably play as much as everybody else here. I haven't been as dedicated recently, but yeah, that's my character.
We accept your terms, and you should bow your head in shame. Daniel.
Hey, my name's Daniel Courthauer. That was not me messing up the mic. I have 334s.
Whoa!
Holy shit.
Since the alpha. Yeah, pretty much anything you could think of in the game, I probably have it, except a hunter. Guys.
Whoa.
Yeah, about that. Okay, so, Chris, next.
All right, well, I am Chris Shaw. I have been playing Destiny since I went on a very boring business trip in February and borrowed it from one of my good friends and fell in love with it. I play with a level 34 Warlock, and I have a level probably 13 Titan that I promise myself someday I will level up to 20 so I can give it some of the exotics that I have saved in the bank. But nice. Until I actually commit to that plan, I'm going to say I normally play my 34 Warlock.
Very good. And I have a 34 Warlock as well. Recently upgraded to 34. Yay! Courtesy of both Dan and Chris's assistance over the last, oh my god, how many weeks, guys? I don't know, like 2 months?
It was probably about 2.5.
Yeah, it's I can't stop. So you'll probably hear some game controller noises in the background because, believe it or not, the addiction is so bad people actually can't stop playing, and they can multitask, which I can't. So you might hear some control sticks waggling in the background. You kids today. So there's the introductions for everybody. I do want to go ahead and jump into a fabulous line of conversations, right? So everybody heard at E3... actually, it leaked just prior to that, but the Taken King. So everybody's been talking about the Taken King. Everybody's got an opinion, and we do too. So we could go ahead and go around the table, and let's just talk a little bit about the Taken King. So we've got 3 new subclasses, right? One for each of the main classes in the game. And any comments, thoughts, jokes about that? Are we excited or meh?
I think it's finally time that they are adding a little bit more to the game. I think, personally, for me, I mean, I've taken a brief hiatus from the game just because I don't think that with the most recent updates that they've really added that much. So I'm personally excited about these new subclasses. I think it'll give me a little bit more juice to keep playing and have some more fun. Not that it's not fun. It's just I think it got a little stale. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it.
Yeah. Chris, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing I'm excited for is adding that elusive third subclass to the game, because it's always been cool to have the the Void Walker, but then the Sunsinger, if you play the Warlock, but to finally get something with Arc and pretty much go all Emperor Palpatine on someone.
Oh my god, unlimited power!
Like, yeah, chain lightning. I'm just getting myself ready for all these memes that I know will be coming. But it's kind of cool, and I think the coolest thing about the trailer that they unveiled was the freaking Titan hammer.
Yeah, the throwable Titan hammer. So it makes your Titan a range character.
It's like playing with fire. It's pretty freaking sweet. So, I mean, in terms of the subclasses, it's been a long time coming, but I think I've been pretty impressed with them.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree.
And it's something to say if you're impressed with something and all you've seen is like concept art.
Right. Well, they had a couple of videos that they posted online, right?
Yeah.
That like showed some examples plus the intro trailer, but yeah, I mean, Emperor Palpatine on a Segway sounds amazing to me. Dan?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I am looking forward to this. I've been wondering what they were going to do because, as most of you guys who would play Destiny know, if you look at your subclasses, they have the one, the other, and then a blank square.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where my age starts to show. That blank square is from the very first copies, like first clans of Destiny, when they were going to let you lock in your choices of a subclass, and that would increase the power of that subclass, but it would not allow you to change the settings of that subclass.
Interesting. So do you think that's something that they might still implement?
I don't, because that was taken out before the game was even released. They were talking about that in the alpha beta days, and then the game comes out, and that's not an option. So I don't think they're going to put it back in. They realized that being able to change your class on the fly is very valuable, and that people will be honest that they either won't use it or they'll be upset when they do if they've added the choice to lock in, because being flexible is, especially at high level activities, is very important. Depending on if I'm doing a Crota raid or whatever, maybe I want Blessing or Weapons of Light. I need the options.
Yeah, and it's actually funny that you said it, because that kind of dynamism in the game, I think, adds a level of strategy as well. So you can make different choices and kind of make the game your own in that way.
And I think before giving Bungie too much credit, the ability to switch subclasses is almost a staple in every MMORPG I've ever played. So, I mean, I'm coming back from the days that I played like World of Warcraft. I know that you're able to switch subclasses, and while the actual functions might not be as vastly different as, say, a Striker Titan versus a Bubble Titan, it's still the actual act of switching subclasses, I don't think is truly revolutionary.
I agree.
I think it comes back to really their Halo days when they kind of, in the further games that you went on, you had like the different kind of technologies. You had the jetpack and the bubble shield and the force field shield and stuff like that. I mean, I think it's kind of the same thing as that. You can constantly switch between those to kind of suit your needs in those games. And I think it's kind of just a callback to like those Halo games. So that's where I see it really coming from. You know, that's why they didn't do it permanent. You know.
Yep. Nope. That's fair. That's fair.
I think at least Chris misunderstood me when I said that about locking in the classes. You would be able to still switch between your subclasses, but like if I switched to my Defender, I would not be able to switch to Blessing of Light if I had Weapons of Light locked in.
Mm.
So I could Void and Arc damage on my subclass, but I would not be able to switch options like that.
Okay, so it was just more of a stricter like tech tree.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's what it was. That's not the case anymore. That's a bit of ancient history now, and I'm glad that they're finally doing something with that empty square that's just been taunting me for in Destiny.
Okay.
Look forward to being a Fire Thor. It's great. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Excellent. So with the subclasses, right, comes the story part of this. So for those folks that were smart enough to purchase the expansions and get into some of the Crota stuff, hopefully it's not a big spoiler. You kill Crota. Yay! And so Daddy, Oryx, gets super mad, and the premise of the story is he comes back through interdimensional portals of doom, bringing the Dreadnought, which is going to be a new area of the map with its own patrol and its own chests and its own everything else. And the whole main story arc is go get him because he's stealing up the different enemy classes and mind twisting them into what's being called the Taken, hence the name. And those new enemies play very differently and are more advanced in their AI, we're told, than the current enemies, like Dregs and Shanks and all those guys. So what do we all think about the main arc of Oryx and the Taken and the concept? I mean, is that enough new content, or are we hoping for a completely brand new set of enemies, or hey, we can work with it because it's different enough?
I'll start.
Go ahead. No, you started. You've been here since Alpha.
All right, if you're gonna be like that, we'll
go. You and your vibrating controller.
That's Chris. I'm not even playing right now.
Chris.
No, that's definitely me. I will vibrate all day long.
Oh my god, you need to put that away, son.
Sure, that's your controller.
Okay.
Might not be.
All right. Anyway, so
it's got a cheap Xbox controller rattle.
It's just the way I like it.
You're an idiot. Sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
New race, the Taken, I think is pretty cool. Actually, the fact that they didn't need to take a different race of class, like a different race of aliens. They just took all the old ones and made them harder. I think it'll be refreshing because you'll maybe walk into a room and then you'll see a Taken thrall and you won't be worried about it at all because it's a thrall. Who cares about those?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I think they will start teleporting around the room. And now you have to try and hit this thrall as it darts back and forth, hitting you and then going away and disappearing. I think that'll be awesome, and I'm looking forward to that. As for the main enemy of going right to Oryx, this game's been out for a year. And granted, the story was pretty lackluster when it came out, but now they're going right to the God of the Hive as the third expansion. And now I'm wondering, well, where else are you going to go from there? Because this is such a powerful figure in the Destiny universe. I feel like they almost rushed to it. Like I would have liked a Cabal raid almost more instead of this.
It seems to me like they're trying to make up for a lot of the gripes and complaints that people have had of the storyline, like you said, being lackluster, and because of that, they're trying to give at least people that are still playing Destiny, at least the first Destiny, a little bit more to go off of. There's already been talk about Destiny 2 and everything like that, and how they're going to improve that and getting different lore masters in and everything like that. I couldn't agree with you more about
technical difficulties, Alex.
Going to have a Cabal style raid. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Cabal style raid I think would be really sweet, but I think they're really trying to make up for the lack of story and everything that they've had so far. At least in the circle that I run in, that's probably one of our biggest gripes with the game is the story is just so lacking. I mean, it's so fun to do raids with people, but that's where Bungie. They were totally into story and Halo, and it seems like such a.
Okay. So, Alex, you'll have to check your mic because you're cutting in and out. The joys of technology, everyone. So, with Alex and Dan's commentary in mind, Chris,
it's a good thing that it.
Well, so Alex, how's your mic, buddy?
I think it's good. I haven't done anything.
Okay, because you're cutting out in and out a little bit. So, check your connection. We'll come back. Yeah, we'll come back. So, Chris, with that in mind, let's add in an extra layer, which is at the end of the House of Wolves, Skolas is trying to manipulate time, to control time for this unknown nefarious purpose that we've yet to really uncover. And so in The Taken King, some of the theories are that in order to get these new powers that we just talked about with these new subclasses, that one of the pop culture theories is the Guardians discover this time vortex capability and can go back in time to get these lost powers to bring them back in to the present, because that's what they need to fight Oryx somehow. So with all of that in mind, what do you think?
Well, I mean, first of all, you can't really have an expansion called The Taken King and not have Liam Neeson in here somewhere, because he's been in like 3 Taken movies. So I just want to point out, and I'm going to say right now, if Bungie does not have Liam Neeson in here somewhere, this is the last expansion I'm buying.
You're so funny.
But really, though, I mean, I'm exactly hitting on what these guys said. They're going right to the meat of the story. I thought it was kind of weird in the second one that they immediately went to to Oryx's son, and with the ability to time travel, and it kind of gives me a little bit of that. I'm trying to. My words are escaping me. The Vault of Glass. Mm-hmm. Because technically you're time traveling when you go to Venus and when you go to Mars. When you're fighting Atheon. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Aren't you technically time traveling?
I mean, I don't know if that's what they would classify it, or if it's just. I mean, it could be. I mean, if that's what the gates, it uses. I mean,
I just think it's just interesting because I think they're using elements of. If it will be interesting if they truly use elements of all of the races. If they take some of the time traveling and teleporting of the Vex, but maybe the Thrall of the Hive, and if they take it as a mix and match of the 4 races, or if they just kind of go in a completely new direction. So I'll be interested, but I am kind of wary. I don't know how I'm going to feel about this one, especially because it's $40.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of people have had that, but I mean, with all the details that keep coming out, I mean, I'm sure we'll hear more about additional content. I mean, gosh knows there's a lot of news trickling out every week. I feel like there's big news about the story, the game. I mean, maybe they're learning from the mistakes of the past. Although I thought House of Wolves was better on content than
it did a little better. It did a little better because, I mean, obviously when the first one was released, it was more of that crap. We couldn't get the story done in time. Here's some Grimoire cards to kind of make up for all the lore we couldn't tell.
Right. Okay. So, anybody have any other thoughts about the story or how it's being played or anything else like that? Okay. So, the next thing is, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but I think it was either last week's update or the week before, talking about the new Quest mission user interface. So now you'll be able to just pop up missions and quest log information right on your main viewer screen. You don't have to go into the menu and then scroll through and tab over to find it. Good thing, bad thing?
I mean, anything they make that's going to be more seamless and easy is definitely something that I'll be interested in. But if it gets cumbersome, if it's too many combinations, or my biggest fear is that you're playing and you're able to switch it too simply.
And you get or I'm just more worried about, I think, just the screenshots that they've shown, that, all this crap appears on the lower right hand of your screen, like this giant column of mission information, and
right.
it blocks, the view of the screen.
Well, see, something like that, it would be a little bit better if they were able to put it somewhere else. I mean, I think a request from everyone from like probably the beginning of time is when you're playing a raid or when you're playing a mission and you finish it, and all of a sudden it shows all of those guns really quick. Why can't I pause and find a menu where I can look back and see what everyone got?
Yep.
That's such a simple fix, yet here they are trying to add a mission UI down in the bottom right that's, with already a semi-cluttered screen. So
yeah.
Just don't get in my way. That's really what I don't want.
Yeah, well, and I think the other cool thing, though, about the concept is that, you can claim bounties and missions, some of them, from the actual menu. You don't have to go back to the tower to turn stuff in. You can just do it on the fly and go. So
yeah, it's like honestly, it's like, why are we completing all these missions across planets yet I can't use a radio to tell them I finished?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think that is designed to sort of address that. And the other thing is, that the interface is, more details, more information, better tracking. You can hold more bounties, than you can today. So they're raising the cap on that, which I think is good, especially if, you've got if you have both expansions and regular bounties, you can't fill them all up. I mean, you can't take them all at once. You have to go pick up the stuff from the bounties and then go, right. And then you got to come back and get Eris if you want to do those. And then maybe you've got enough left over to pull the stuff from Petra, but it's a lot. I mean, and so hopefully a little bit more space goes a long way. We'll find out. Anybody have any other thoughts about user interface, or if you heard anything else or different?
No, I haven't heard anything much else.
Good. I appreciate the backhanded compliment of being thorough. So new location. We know we have the Dreadnought, which is an impenetrable fortress of doom that will be somewhere near Saturn. We know that Phobos, the moon on Mars, will be an area, at least at some point in the game. It's interesting because if you go into the Grimoire today and you look at the locations, they actually have Jupiter and Saturn already there, which I noticed the other day with great interest. And actually, I posted a thing on my clan wall about, hey, did anybody else see this? And everybody's like, oh, no, I didn't even know that was there. That's cool. So there's already some things. I mean, if you click on it, nothing happens. But the fact that Jupiter is there, and we've heard nothing about Jupiter yet, and Saturn, we haven't heard anything official yet. All we've seen is that there are certain views in the screenshots that we've seen and in some of the trailer videos that, when you are on the Dreadnought, you can see Saturn, the rings of Saturn in the distance. So, there's nothing in there about Phobos yet. So to what extent is that going to be there? I mean, it's just very interesting that some of the stuff's there and we still don't know what's going on. So obviously there's more planets coming. So what do we think about just the Dreadnought and Phobos for confirmed locations? I mean, is that really going to truly be enough for this particular expansion? Because technically it's 2 new map locations that would be like adding, I guess ostensibly the moon and Venus. Is that enough for $40?
I think it depends on where they take it and what they do with it, how much material is really added to it. It's funny because Rob Hansen, I mean, the only reason why he bought the expansions was so he could discover a new planet and, do those missions on it. And he was really excited and hopefully find new, different enemies to fight and stuff like that. So I think it really depends on, how much material they really add to it, if it's going to make the $40 worthwhile. I mean, $40 is pretty steep for... I mean, the game itself is $60, so... Well,
not anymore. I mean, gosh, you could buy it for like $20 on Amazon, I think.
Yeah, but, I mean, originally $60,
yeah.
So you're basically paying for 2/3 of a game, so you would hope that there's going to be 2/3 more material than the original, right?
Yep.
So that's a really tall order. I highly doubt that they'd be able to get, that much, but, I mean, it's definitely intriguing, for sure.
Other thoughts about the locations? I mean,
I kind of want to go to Pluto.
I mean, it's been in the news so much the last week, right? Why not?
Yeah.
We have actual pictures of what the surface looks like so we can make it
I
up.
know. It doesn't just look like pixelated crap. No, I mean, it's exciting because, I mean, I remember before I even bought Destiny, I would always kind of log on and I would be playing a different game and I would see Dan is doing, it's like Raid on the Moon and Raid on Venus. And before I played, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But then I got the game and realized, besides Earth, there's like only 3 other places to go.
Yep.
So the fact that they're willing to add some of that stuff and that it might be on moons of planets. It could be on, it could actually be on like the rings of Saturn. I saw a theory that there's going to be a mission in the asteroid belt, which would be kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So all of it, as long as it's new and fresh and they don't reuse a map, and just make it rockier instead of, a brand new location, I think it's going to be successful without a doubt.
Okay. Daniel?
Yes.
What do you think on the locations? What do you
Sounds
think?
like a butler.
He does. Idiot.
I am mostly waiting to see it till I decide what I think, because I haven't seen much of it. Like if the whatever the dreadnought,
yeah,
that is it going to be somewhere where you can kind of patrol, or is it going to be somewhere that you have to fly in only when you're doing the raid? That'll be the game.
Apparently, it does include patrol.
See, that would be pretty cool. So now it depends on how big it is, all that things, like, I don't know.
Okay. But generally you agree that more planets is better, especially for the price they're asking. Or locations, I should say.
For the price they're asking, I would expect more. Honestly, I kind of did expect more than the 2 locations, but we'll see what they're like before I say it's not worth it.
Okay. But I mean, even if so let's just play a what if for a second. Let's just pretend that it is just the 2. There is patrol and chests and orcs and some time travel and new enemies and new subclasses and all of that. That you wouldn't buy it?
Well, not to say I wouldn't buy it.
That is what they want to hear, Dan. Keep going.
I was about to say, I would like to say that regardless of how bad we review this, I know that Dan and I will be buying it.
Oh, I'm buying it. I've already pre-ordered it. I already have it pre-ordered. So, okay. Interesting. So moving away from the content, well, actually, it's still content-based. Our friends at Bungie decided that they were going to do, well, it's not really Bungie's fault, it's Activision, let's be honest. And they did a fun little agreement with Red Bull. And so people have been complaining about this where, you can buy specially marked cans of Red Bull only at 7-Elevens, which, by the way, don't exist in the area of Ohio we live in, most of us. And so you get the can, and then you get a code that you can go online and redeem, and then it gives you a super special mission, at least until January of 2016, and then everyone gets it who bought the expansion. So what do we think about promotional gimmicks like that?
Well, what did they do for the PlayStation? They had the Hawk Moon,
which I love. I love my
Strike.
I love my Hawk Moon, and I love my Strike.
The Strike that was all their own. I think, was that the Scion Flare one?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So, I mean, they do it.
But, I mean, the difference with that, though, is, console exclusivity is, I think, a little bit different than forcing you to have to buy a really crappy energy drink.
But they give you wings.
It's not true. It's not true. Okay. But so then along with that, you presumably heard that, the good universe of the interwebs cracked the sequence of redemption codes and started stealing codes and redeeming them and giving away codes that they didn't actually purchase on cans. So people were buying Red Bull, trying to go home and redeem their can code, only to discover it had already been redeemed. Whoops.
Of course,
right?
Hey, good for them. I think it was just really just a money ploy for them to make a little bit more money, get another sponsor on the game, whatever. So if people crack it, great. Let them screw up their system a little bit and hold their feet to the fire. Let them sweat.
And what about you, Dan? I know you're a Red Bull addict.
I'm not a Red Bull.
I'm kidding.
Well, that depends. Is Jaeger with it?
Yeah, right.
Oh, you're one to talk, Chris.
Silence. Silence equals guilt. So, you, Dan, how do you feel? Does that contaminate your pure Destiny gaming experience? Silence.
It's a hard question, There's Because Destiny has been a very commercialized game from the beginning.
Right.
Am I at all surprised that they are doing this? No. Does it make me a little upset that someone else has something that I don't? Yes. But I'll get it eventually, so...
Right. I'm shocked to hear you say that. That's so mature of you. Okay, so enough with the Red Bull stuff. So every year on July 7th, Bungie has Bungie Day. Yay! And so Bungie Day is supposed to be with all kinds of cool goodies and in-game fun and bringing the community together. And this year they decided to flush all that down the toilet and said, hey, we've got this cool emblem that you can win if you do all of the hard stuff in Destiny in the time frame, and it goes back to when you bought the game, and you have until like September 9th to do it. I have like 10 Crucible wins and Skolas to go, and then I'm done. So they're calling it the Triumphs. Was this good enough for all the hype around Bungie Day, or are they just wasting everybody's time? Don't be shy.
I was going to say, maybe it's just the amount that I play the game, but I was not very impressed with the list of things.
So how were you on the list of things, by the way?
I was 8 of 10, and the 2 I'm missing are the farming ones. That's it.
Okay.
Like I'm missing the public events, and I'm missing the chess.
Okay. Both of which are easy.
Both of which, I just have to spend time doing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was a little disappointed that that's what they were. It makes sense because when I first saw them, I was like, oh, well, one of them should have been, collect every legendary. But that's so RNG, random number generator based,
right,
that wouldn't be fair.
Well, what about finding the dead ghosts?
That's a good one. That is a good one.
A lot of people mentioned that, hey, why wasn't that in there? And actually went out of their way to do it. So I'm actually kind of surprised, too. But, I mean, is an emblem enough of a reward? Like, people were like, don't I get, like, a cool helmet or a super special weapon, or you're just giving me a stupid picture for my name? Like, who cares?
Well, not to continue talking, but I mean, if the way that I kind of look at it is, and actually, I'm going to parallel it to the real world a minute. So I travel for work, and I fly on an airplane, and the airplane I fly with, the company just redid the way that they did their mileage. So like the way that the frequent flyers use it.
Yep.
And they made it much more exclusive. And they made it exclusive, and the reason that that's kind of paralleling is if they give something that is so good to so many people that can accomplish this, it's not going to feel very special. So the fact that they're leaving it as something boring, it doesn't bother me, but it does kind of ring a bell that they don't want everyone to be able to do it. They want it to be a small enough number. However, they don't want it to be like, oh my gosh, if everyone beats this Triumph, you're going to get the Galahorn 2.0. Or if everyone gets these moments of Triumph, you're going to get, 70,000 Glimmer or Glimmer for life.
Right.
They have to make it enticing, but they can't give it to everyone, because if everyone gets it, then it's not special.
And I agree with that. So then in the context of Bungie Day, I mean, was that enough for their, hailed day of the year? Because a lot of people are like, no, it's not enough. Like, where's my in-game, I can, run around with a pumpkin on my head consumable like they did for Halloween, you know what I mean?
I wish they did that more often.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about a Triumph? A Triumph would have been doing all the raids and Skolas on the Bungie Day and then getting a pumpkin head.
Yeah, or
that's Triumph.
Skolas head or something cool like that.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I just looked up this whole Bungie Day thing. This is the first I'd heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can imagine, I have 334s. Yeah, I've done it all already. So my thoughts on this is that was actually, I looked through these, and these aren't exactly all that hard.
Well, but I mean, if you're somebody who plays the game very socially, and I'll use myself as an example. I mean, at least until the last month or so. I was a absolutely anti-PvP guy. I only played the Crucible a few times at the very beginning to just check it out. And I never did a raid before I raided with you guys. Like, I had never even in a million years thought I would ever do it until you guys were like, have you ever done it? And then you were all, you were both like completely shocked. And I was like, no, it's not my bag. And now I run it at least once a week with my clan. So like, I am totally into it. I love it. It every time I do it, I'm like, I am such a hoss. You know what I mean? Like, I love running it, especially on hard. Vault of Glass and Crota on hard are a blast. So, but I would have never done that before. Like, nobody ever helped me. And so there's a lot of the community that doesn't do it because they don't want to go online and don't want to do the headset and don't want to have to, do that crap. So, for some people, it's probably hard, like an impossible thing that they'll never be able to do. I mean, especially for people who just like to go run some missions and call it a day, right?
I guess, yeah. I guess my Destiny experience is a lot different than most people's Destiny experiences. Like, yes. I remember, sound old again. I remember playing Crucible when it was in its beginning stages, when vehicles were on almost every playlist. And, that's where I learned how to play Crucible. So you saying that you don't like to play Crucible, it strikes me as weird, because I've always liked it.
Yeah, I hate it. Still hate it.
It's great. Iron Banner's the best.
Yeah, I have a bunch of my clan buddies are all like, we're going to go run Iron Banner. I'm like, you have fun with that. Anybody want to go do a raid? It's not my thing. And a lot of the guys say that. I mean, it's really interesting because a lot of people say, I don't want to do it that's not my thing, or, hey, I'll join up, but I suck and I really have no desire to get better. I'm just, I'll fill in the last spot on the 6 or whatever. So, it's not everybody's bag, and not a lot of people like to. For me, it's very stressful. I don't know why it is, but I can't handle it. I'm like, I'm supposed to be having fun, not screaming at my TV screen.
That's you in PvP games in general. So that doesn't surprise me at all that you hate the PvP.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I like control. It's fun. I can steal zones like a boss.
Yeah,
I just die 5,000 times.
I too enjoy playing cooperatively with people. I still can't even say that. But yeah, I mean, really the only reason why I play the game is so I can bust out a raid with my friends and then have a dance party at the end. So that's it.
Yeah, I love the dance parties.
Yeah.
My daughter loves dance parties too. Okay, anything else for Bungie Day or the Triumph emblem? Woo.
I think the emblem is cool enough, but I would just wish that they tacked a little more on it. Made it harder to get, honestly.
Yeah.
I think the title is cool enough. I'm always looking for what's a cool title to have. What's one that not many people would have. I'm looking for something to set my guy apart.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because if you look at the Triumphs page on your profile, it very clearly says on a block on the left-hand corner, year 1, which means there's going to be Triumphs for every year of Destiny, which, for those who are completely asleep, is supposed to be a 10-year game. So that already means that there will be year 2 Triumphs. The question is, starting with the Taken King, the question is, what will they be? Will they be the same? Will they be different? Because they're going to do it again. That page makes that very clear.
True, but now I'm thinking, what else is there to do? Because they can't repeat half these.
Well, if there's new locations, there's going to be more gold chests, right? There's going to be a raid on, normal and hard mode. There's going to be super duper bosses. Orcs presumably will be, at the end of one of the raids, I imagine. And I think some of the similar activities, and then there's things that we don't even know yet that they could choose. There's going to be more dead ghosts. Maybe they'll throw that in year 2. Did you get all the dead ghosts from the beginning until now? And give you a time frame to do it in. I mean, it'll be really interesting to see what they do with it, I think.
And I think they could even get more specific instead of, just play. What's the one about Crucible? Is it play 100 matches?
Yeah, win 100 Crucible matches. Yeah.
Win 100. Okay, you could change that to have, kill 100 of each player with each weapon type.
Oh!
You know, Destiny, I'm looking for a job, by the way.
Oh my God. You could be the next community manager. They just hired some guy off of Reddit, right?
Exactly. Just get me. But I mean that's the stuff you can do. There's plenty of room for them to get specific. And now if they released a challenge like that where you have to kill with 100 of each one, sign me up. That is so much fun.
You're crazy.
Oh, whatever. I heard you complaining about your void kills, so
I know, but you know what? Yeah, once I did it, it was actually very enjoyable.
Hey, all I can tell you is void kills suck, especially when you're not good at it and you have the thorn bounty and you always lose points, then gain points. But enough about that. So, anything else for just Taken King in general? Any other just final thoughts, and then we have one more segment yet at the end. Any final thoughts on it? Hopes for the future? You're holding out for a certain golden nugget that will absolutely make you plunk your money down without any questions asked.
Just don't let my $40 go to waste, Bungie. That's all I'm saying.
Liam freaking Neeson.
Honestly, one thing that I'm a little upset about in the whole expansion is the fact that they're going to come out with exotic class items for two reasons. One, because Bungie has been cited saying that they don't want to do that because the point of the class item is something to wear to make your guy unique. And if they made an exotic, everybody would just wear the exotic and it takes away the point of the class item. Second, on top of that, to make sure everybody wears the exotic class item that they're going to come up with, they added experience buffs to it. You get more experience wearing this item. So not only is it exotic, so everyone's going to wear it, it's now actually better than every other class item, so everyone's going to wear it. So they just, they threw away an entire aspect of your character customization for almost no reason.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, there was one other thing, since we're just doing final thoughts, that I neglected to mention earlier that I think is also interesting, that, obviously they're raising the level cap in this game and Taken King, which we would expect. Some people are saying, I don't know if it's been officially confirmed, but I think it's going to be level 40. And
oh boy.
Yeah, right? And then, so if that's true, and the question is, well, how are you going to get there? Are you just going to have, new light levels for new armor? There's a rumor going around, you'll have to forgive me because I know I read this in so many different places a couple weeks back, but I didn't follow up for the show, was, now some weapons are going to have light levels that weapons can contribute to your light level as well. So if that's true, how does that change? I mean, Dan, kind of in the same vein, if I know that this certain gun has 10 light level versus, the 5 light level that I had on my previous handgun, and it's not necessarily a super hard legendary or exotic to get, and you can just get it by, doing a wanted quest like, tokens for House of Wolves, I mean, does that cause the same problem for you?
Almost in a way, because I don't like Bungie making items and armor and guns that you need to have because it's obviously the best. Them making this class item, it is obviously going to be the best class item in the game, and everybody who can will equip it.
So you're saying it's almost like the Galahorn.
In a way, the Galahorn is, I guess, similar to that, where pretty much if you had the choice between, what exotic weapon am I going to use? Oh, of course, the Galahorn. But you only get one of the exotics, so I can see them making the Galahorn that easy, that good. But if what you're talking about with light on weapons, I'm assuming they'll probably do it for legendaries and rare weapons. Mm-hmm. And now, even if this, I don't know, I guess I'd have to see how it works, because there are some weapons that are obviously better than others, like Fatebringer and Vision of Confluence and Word of Crota, things you get out of these raids. Mm-hmm. You equip those before every other weapon. Granted, on a particular burn, you equip one more than the other. But now with this light increase, it raises the question of, does this weapon with light on it do more damage than these other guns?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question that we don't know.
If it does significantly more damage and it pretty much forces you to use this gun or be horrible, I don't like that. I can see it being especially bad in Iron Banner, where weapons with light and armor with max light puts you above everyone else level-wise, thus above everyone else stat-wise. Everyone will use the same guns, which is exactly what they tried to avoid for all of Destiny, is everybody using the same gun.
Right. Yep. That's true. Any other thoughts or commentary on that? Okay, last part. So, just to be, conspiracy theory and to get everybody's kind of thoughts out on the table, I thought it'd be fun to add like a random grimoire story element and then have everybody react to it. Just a fun little, let's see what you really think. So I'm going to go for an obvious one because I think everybody's got an opinion about it, and the story is vague enough that we just don't know. So let's talk about The Traveler. Kind of the whole impetus for the entire storyline. What's the deal with the Traveler? Give us your thoughts.
A random floating ball.
A random floating ball. I mean, really, is he dead? Was he really the bad guy, not the good guy? There was that conspiracy theory going around for a while after the game initially launched. Like, what is it? Do we have enough information to know? Can we speculate on it? I mean, I think it's some dude that ended up getting captured, like the man behind the curtain, in The Wizard of Oz, and, they got him someplace, and the ball is just the shell, you know what I mean?
So you think the Traveler is an actual person?
Yeah, like, either that or I also, interestingly, think that the Speaker could be the Traveler, because we never see the Speaker's face. He's super vague and ostensibly useless, except that he kind of always knows what's going on.
Maybe the giant sphere is just his vehicle or mode of transportation.
Right.
It's his Audi, his BMW.
Yeah, I mean, because when you look at the picture, like if you're on the tower and you zoom in, or you look at the Grimoire cards, you go online and look at any of the artwork, the bottom is like frayed open, and you can see like steel beam constructions. So obviously, is it in of itself a thing, or is it an entity using the thing or constructed this thing that was able to emanate through some alien technology all the things that created the Golden Age? You know what I mean?
I think. All right, now I kind of get what you're asking about this question we're talking about.
Good.
I think the Traveler itself is that giant sphere, and it's a supercomputer. A supercomputer that is so advanced that it's basically its own
consciousness.
Like it's almost it's got its own consciousness. And this supercomputer is what it says that's what started the golden age of humanity. It let us explore new worlds. It let us travel to Venus, Mars, all over the moon, all of that. And that the origins of the Traveler, I think, tie it to all the alien races that fall under the category of darkness that are chasing it. Why they are chasing it has to do with its origins. And it is constantly, it came to us most likely searching for someone to help, someone it could make strong enough to help it.
So you think there's like a selfish, self-preservation type element there?
Yes, it's helping us.
To help itself.
In the beginning because it wanted us to become strong enough to help it.
Interesting.
And to a degree, it worked.
Yeah, to a degree. One could argue. For a brief period of time. Other theories? Come on, Chris.
I mean,
I got something.
No, I mean, I really think that's probably the best theory that's out there. I mean, I think when I first started playing and I beat the story, I was just furious that I didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
I felt like I had wasted so much time playing this game, and I was like, what did I find out?
Yeah.
Nothing. I didn't learn anything. So
like,
then
not even
a
loose end. Like,
no, so I started reading more about it, and it's such a bizarre thing to happen. And the way that, I mean, when you first play the game, the way that they make it seem is like all of a sudden one day this giant white ball fell to Earth, and then all of a sudden it granted all of this technology to all these people, and hey, guess what? Now there are guardians, and now we're traveling to planets, and now there's all these aliens here. So it to Dan's point, it almost might be like if the traveler is seeking refuge from the things of darkness, the four races, and it just knows that if it hangs around long enough, that there's going to be some symbiotic relationship between the guardians and the good people and the light on Earth and the traveler itself. The traveler will grant technology, and the guardians can protect and do whatever else they want to do. They can go punch all the aliens and whatever else they need to do. I don't know. That's kind of where I was thinking. It's pretty similar to what Dan thought.
Okay, Alex.
I always thought that it was interesting that the aliens are trying to basically chase after it. I thought it was more of like not really a super weapon or something like that, but there's got to be a reason why all these the darkness and everything is coming after this thing. Like why do they want to acquire it? Is it just the technology that it's appropriating on humankind, or I feel like there's something more to it than meets the eye. Like there's something that like the traveler can unlock or do that. I mean, what's its real power in it? Because why else would they be chasing it? I also thought that, especially after the end of the game, when I finished it, I felt really cheated. It seemed to me like they were just setting it up for a second, like Destiny 2, They kind of just really cut you off with the story and make you basically speculate with all this stuff. And it didn't, the story alone didn't give you enough to go anywhere with it. I felt, kind of bad. But
yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting because if you go into the grimoire on the Traveler and you read the cards, right, it talks about specifically, I think there's 4 cards in there, and the second and third card, it talks about how what they did to you, how they cut you so deep, and now you're just kind of the ship, the orb is protecting the last city on Earth, and it pushes back the darkness. They can't penetrate it. The ghosts came from the Traveler to bring the Guardians back to life, which I think is kind of creepy. And also unexplained, but we'll save that for next time. And it talks about how you're a former shell of yourself. You don't even know how bad you are, like how bad of a spot you're in. So, I mean, it lends itself to the consciousness thing, but is it just a technology, or was it more than that? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Any final thoughts on the Traveler, or what we think we'll find out, or do you think we'll get any more information in the Taken King about it, or will it just keep being the random white ball on the planet?
I bet it'll be a random white ball still.
Do you think that the ultimate story arc will end with reviving the Traveler to save the universe, or is that too predictable?
I don't know, honestly. I haven't thought that far into it.
This is what keeps me up at night. No, I'm kidding. That would be my daughter.
I don't care what the ending of the story is, as long as Liam Neeson is voicing it.
I don't know. We need to be careful because anytime you have a big AAA voice, it turns out to be not so good.
Yeah, you're right.
So be careful what you wish for. All right.
You guys hitting on my Peter Dinklebot?
I mean, there's a little bit of hate there, yeah, just a little.
Peter Dinklage is 10 times the man you are.
Wow. Well, I don't know what that says about you. I guess he's 100 times the man you are. Boom. Okay, well, on that lovely note, everybody's so nice. That's been the first show, everybody. So you can check this show out on Spreaker. You can check it out on iTunes. It will be on iTunes, hopefully by the time this releases to the general public. And we'll be back several times to keep talking about it. So, we get the information directly from the speaker, hence the name. At least that's my joke. And we'll take it from there. So you can check out everything else over on GamerFeedRadio.com on our parent channel. And until next time, Guardians, peace.
Let's go raid.
Hand banana cannons forever.
Banana.